Welcome back, everybody, to some sort of confessional, which is you get started on something, and by you, I mean me. I have a fixation with getting things finished. There's a thread running on RC crawler forums about how many unfinished projects do you have on your bench. And I currently have like 1.5, and that's excessive. So I have to get one of them done. I have to. So I've been working on this guy pretty thoroughly. Oh, face the camera. Pretty thoroughly, and arrived at a problem and had to go through to get to the root of that problem, and that was under use on the rocks. This guy was torque twisting horribly, and I decided to diagnose it the only way I know how to diagnose, which is to troubleshoot by steps. So I took the pinion off and tried to roll it and see if it would roll, and it wouldn't. So I took the spur off because this is an associated slipper setup on a Amazon Dig gearbox. Still wouldn't roll. Disconnected the rear drive shaft. Still wouldn't roll. Took all of the entire rear axle apart, completely cleaned it, did all of that, put it back together. It still wouldn't roll. Then I just happened to stop for a second and look at the end of the axle outputs, and there was a nice polished gold look to the ends of the axle outputs. So I said, So I took I think they were Samix hexes off, grabbed another pair of hexes, threw them on, rear end rotated just fine. Back to nice and smooth. I go to the front axle, I attempt the same procedure. I just swap the hexes. I figure, I figured it out, I've got it. I put the hexes on it. The front end will not rotate. It's absolutely tight, like something's got a clamp on it. So I probably had the front axle off and apart, completely apart 5 times. Reclocked the C-hubs, messed with the knuckles, changed the hat bushings, changed the stub axles, basically changed everything I could except the ring and pinion. Cleaned the entire thing out, re-greased, put the ring and pinion back in. That would turn smoothly. Put one drive shaft in, still turns smoothly. Put the other drive shaft in, still turns smoothly. Bolt everything together, it doesn't work. And I'm like, if there were hair to pull out, I would be pulling it out. And I finally got to the point where I got to the conclusion that right there, something was bent and or binding. So I attacked it with a file and now have significantly more steering throw than I had before. And lo and behold, look, it rolls. And this was after the realization that the pinion gear that was originally fitted was not 48 pitch, but Mod 06. So this thing sounded terrible because it effectively had a pinion gear that didn't fit. So now it sounds like this, which is, I think, the way it's supposed to sound. And more importantly, there's no torque twist at all. It still has quite a pulse width line. But other than that, and more of not doing my due diligence, I had ordered the shocks off of Jenny's specifically because they had the lightest weight springs on them, which it turns out I did not need for this build. Anyway, I finally took them apart to address the oil issue, pushed the pistons all the way to the top, and they have the red Traxxas pistons, which are the super lightweight ones, which is why with 50 weight in it, the thing was still rolling all over the place. It doesn't roll all over the place now because I left the red pistons in there and filled them with 80 weight. So it's got red pistons and 80 weight. And honestly, I'm good with that setup because the thicker the oil, the less likely it is to leak out. So we're going to try it right now with 80 weight. And this afternoon, possibly, I'm in a split decision in my head right now, which is remake the chassis to accommodate an element skid, because this is what's holding the gearbox on, as hole 3 stripped out. Alternately, I mean, I could pull everything apart, re-drill it, and tap it for 4mm. So that's also a possibility, which would save me some effort, as I'd have to redo all the links. All the lower links would have to be redone to change the center chassis. Anyway, I'm in an in-between place of building the chassis or driving to the nearest Harbor Freight to buy a cement mixer, once I found out that a cement mixer at the Harbor Freight is $269 for a 3 cubic foot. So that's a 2-sacker, and I could really get some stuff done. So honestly, at that price point, I'm kind of leaning towards the cement mixer at this point. Before any of that comes to be, let's take this out and see if it is quote unquote fixed. And I think I might even pull one of the wireless, I might pull a wireless mic out if I can remember where I put the damn thing, and try a wireless mic as the boom mic. Getting these audio levels equalized, this is kind of the only setup. The setup I have here for talking to the bench is the only setup I have that really works. Everything else has got to be fiddled with and poked at. Anyway, we're going to take this out, and you'll see this for the first time. Oh, here I go again. Springs have been changed yet again. We are up half a rate in the front, half a rate in the rear. It was running element blue stripe in the front. Those have been moved to the back, replacing the element grays. And in the front are now Traxxas clears, which are like stock like from a Defender. I can't remember if it's front or rear on a Defender. It seems pretty good to me. It feels over stiff in the rear, but now I'm working on a new philosophy of, you know, when the weight transfers, does it feel too stiff now? So we're going to see how it does, and you're going to see the obstacle that I built yesterday. More of the Canyon blend to assemble. Many more rocks moved. My hands and feet hurt. And let's watch this thing go, and I'll ramble on about it a little more. All right, party people, welcome back outdoors. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to, I'm still calling him Jake. Seems fitting. Welcome to Jake, and welcome to Stone Cutters, which is this section here, because I was getting to where, you know, we've got Mr. Pile over there, who has been getting bigger and smaller with each passing day, and rocks like here, there. I just started hitting them with a hammer. You know, I had these like big, you know, double the size of a basketball, just round rocks. So I was like, you know what? I bet we can bring these down to a usable size if I hit them with a big sledgehammer. Transitional area is in place. We've got a little bit of the blend here. It blended in quite nicely with the ground. Pretty happy with it. We'll see how it goes when it gets some actual weight over it. Now this guy, this fella right here, Mr. 237% drag brake, I feel like he was pretty good the last time he saw rock. And honestly, his setup was absolutely borked. That's pushing. Get in that groove. This should, I mean, the Canyon blend is grippy stuff. See, can we get up this in 2-wheel drive? Oh, almost. It's a little belly up there. We're gonna try that. Wow, that's some grip. We're gonna try the little slot canyon over here to the left, because I think that it will be pretty messed up. I'm developing an eye. Here's the problem. The builder's eye is intentionally or unintentionally getting meaner. Like, this is not this is not specifically the vehicle to test obstacle strength on, because I feel like even as he sits now relatively untuned, you know, you come out here with Gate Rover and try to get up this, and I'm like, what am I going to get? I mean, I'm definitely going to say he's better. We need to really hit some stuff that's going to really overload the rear end to see how that behaves. But got a little axle hang there. There we go. Okay, swing it around town. I, of course, then became worried that, like, the foam selection, how is the foam selection gonna, ooh, I need to soften that reverse, I'll tell you that right now. He just absolutely pops into reverse. He's got a little bit of zazz, maybe too much zazz. So we'll try turning the throttle curve back on, as he keeps going through so many power permutations. I haven't touched any of the power stuff since he was, I think since he was on a Capra gearbox. We have another side to this as well. Like, see, that seems better already. That was an easy, just push a few buttons to get to there. A little less surgy now. You know, I gotta remember not to keep my finger resting on the trigger. I feel like I'm asking a lot of a Mamba Max Pro. Yeah, that's a lot better. And I mean, look at that steering angle now. Whoa, hello. Like I said, I need to remember not to keep my finger on the trigger. All right, I think he's gonna manage to three-wheel navigate up the little Stonecutter Canyon here. Ooh, yeah, that's a tricky spot. That's a tricky spot. That's a dig spot. Ooh, come on. Oh no, that is categorically the worst case scenario. So what the Royal We have assembled here is an entry effectively too narrow for anyone. So you gotta try to two-wheel it through here. And if you don't have a big body and you're low to the ground, you can get through. But then once you get up through here, you'll see the corner of that big rock right there is touching the top and the bottom of the tire, which makes things behave, shall we say, erratically, as it's now trying to flip him over. We're gonna try pulling the front end through with dig, but yeah, there it is. Nope, there it almost was. The Canyon blend is so grippy. Oh, come on. Oh, that is a tough entry. Like, that's not the type of stuff you turn loose on the participants in the Invitational. Or is it? Oh, look at that. Oh, the throttle curve. Yeah, the throttle curve has dialed down the weight of the electric anchor just a little bit. Get that under, get that under. Oh, that was nice. That was some clawing with the sidewall. All right, let's head over to the other side of Stonecutters, which I don't know is better or worse than this side, than the north face. We'll try the southern exposure of Stonecutters and see what that looks like. Ooh. This turned... I'll start that again. The side turned out to only be 2 buckets, so not even half a sack of Portland. Let's see if I get this rock placed where I wanted it to. It needs more. Yeah, it definitely needs more. Yeah, because we can pull clean through there, and if I can get up over here, I mean, breaching it is not the easiest, but he can. Hopefully I can get down. I can't see. There we go. Yeah, this is how we figured out. So right in there, I got to do something. I was hoping that this little slot right here would be a little tougher to navigate, so I'm gonna have to either stone cut some stuff for there, or find that perfect rock, which may or may not exist. This was all born out of this little bit of slab here. I saw it and was like, yeah, let's throw it in there. All right. I'm using imaginary markers here. I'm trying to stay between some imaginary markers. Let's see if we do a top-bottom rock action here. If we can pull this around. Nope, that's a funnel. Let's see here. This is usually transition there. I'm gonna try to swing it around town, pull it across the top. Oh, that's, come on. Ah. Oh, that was almost messy. All right, now let's see how has the side hilling changed. I don't know. There's quite a bit of fold on that front tire, but I think the suspension is managing it really well. Both of those low side tires are really folded. We are making pizza dough out of that. Let's see if we can tip in, angle it more up, getting real light on that high side front. A little ploppo. All right. I just got stuck on a hose nozzle. Try up this approach here. I gotta say, I like a canyon. I mean, it's in the name, but I like a nice little slot that is tough to navigate through. How are these gonna pull these river rocks? That's just 4 river rocks. Try bump. Ooh. That slate's got the hoppy bump. Rear is bound in. There we go. Got to get a tire up on the extra grippy stuff. Yeah, it's a good bump. That's a good bump. Yeah, that is quite a grippy surface. His suspension seems to be doing really well. Look at that. So he gets to about exactly where I would expect him to get in terms of rolling out. Yeah, that drag brake's real good. We can just overload it. We've got that low side rear just straight bound. Round it over. His dig works so good. Okay, pull that, pull it. There we go. Dig it down. It's just right there. Like, the tires are the perfect compliance for vertical, but they're just, ooh. I want to get across that. That rear is so smashed out. Oh no, he's there. Did I accidentally stumble on his tuning? Because I feel like I did. Thankfully, camera display is some fancy next-gen stuff. Because otherwise, the brightness level out here is apocalyptic. So I'm in the polarized shades that are very, very dark. And here's why I gotta wear sunglasses. They are, you know, look at that. Look at that distorto vision. Yeah, my eyes don't work good. So also, look at the amount of light that comes through these. So when you look at a camera display, any LCD through these, it's crazy. This one just looks like an explosion of rainbows. But if I look at like a computer monitor, it'll be completely black in one eye and sort of visible in the other. So I take what I can get. Let's swing this around. Try the usual problematic. Oh, that was so smooth down there. I don't feel like I have quite enough wheel time to remark on the viability of the Flash Hobby 50 kg direct power servo. I mean, it's quiet, and I don't honestly think it's making 50 kg. Like, because sometimes it'll do that thing where on high grip, like if you put it down on carpet, it won't return to center. And I know the tires are grippy, but you know, you put an RS 500 or something, a big AGFRC, and it will pull it back to center. But one cannot fault the price if you're looking for a 3S direct servo. This one was $49.99, and the Flash Hobby stuff routinely goes on sale. I'm up to, I think, 3 Flash Hobby servos and a couple Flash Hobby motors, and I have no complaints about any of them. I just can't speak to their long-term durability. Price point, they're fantastic. I think the normal price on this guy is like $57, which compared to what an AGFRC SA75 goes for now, this guy's almost a no-brainer. It's not as smooth, and it doesn't feel quite as torquey. I think the SA75 is rated at like 600 at 12.6, which, I mean, you know, a 3S rig is going to see 12.6 volts for like the first 5 seconds. But like look at the turn angle there. Oh, how about we put it in frame? Look at the turn angle there, and then if I go to the hard way, there it goes. Because I futzed with this thing quite a lot. I'm not saying it's not enough torque. It definitely feels like it's putting out more than a 35 kg, for sure. So you got more than 35 kg, and it's direct power, and I love direct power. I really do. Because then you can set your BEC, pardon me, you can set your BEC at 6 volts. And electronics love 6 volts. Except for steering servos. Like, this is my dig servo at 6 volts. I can't ask for more than that. So poppy. The slate is so poppy. Yeah, brake curve is something that's selected independently, and brake curve is something that takes time to manipulate because speed controls are not, you know, they're not smart. They can only do what they're told. They can't adapt to the situation, at least not 11-year-old basher speed controls. So when I dial in brake curve, that brake curve affects drag brake. So I give up one to get some of the other. Let's go. I've tried to establish, the further right you go, the more you're doing. And it looks like it's too loaded up. Can we dig it over? And I came from a point where, you know, when I poured this not that long ago, boy howdy, the same time I did Ancient Kingdom / Precious Stones, I was like, man, mortar mix is proper grippy. Yeah, you mix Portland with DG if you want grippy. I want somebody to manage to get over to do that, but pull it the rest of the way. And the problem is, low side rear, that's not a thing. That was not a thing at all. All right, let's come in from the right. Yeah, and there are certain moments, select moments, I don't mind the absolute pop of the reverse, but I think under most situations it could stand to be dialed back a little without killing this level of drag brake. Like that, it had a tiny little bit of roll, which was probably the dig, just picking up the slack in the dig. So it's down to, this really makes me not want to build another chassis and mess with link geometry and just deal with the 2 screws, and should it come down to it, re-tap the thing out for 4mm. Yeah, it's strange. The Mamba Max, oh! Thought I was gonna pop something right there. It's noisy. But, woo! Yeah, and it also doesn't have settings like 100% forward, 50% reverse, like a Mamba Max. I mean, like a Hobby Wing or any Hobby Wing. This thing is, so we got forward and we got reverse. They're the same thing. It doesn't care if it's moving forward or backward. It is amazingly smooth, and this thing is so much better now that I undid. You know, I don't want to overwhelm the self-deprecation-o-meter. So I don't want to say stupid. I just want to say, you know, you don't know until you know. Element parts and axial parts are really close, but they're almost too close, because like an element hex doesn't fit on an axle. So AR44 and element axle are different, not different enough, honestly. So here is the problem with the steering. It has nothing to do with the setup or anything else. See the horn down there? Something is amiss, because the servo horn is not moving. The output spline is not moving. So it has shifted over a little bit, like it's shifted over about a spline, which leads me to believe that that horn is missing a tooth or two, which would explain the steering wonkiness. So perhaps the problem with the servo is not indeed the servo at all, but rather the fact that it has overpowered that horn, which was used, and just killed it. It is just steady state one-hander driving. What do we got? Yeah, see, too grippy. I mean, ordinarily I wouldn't say, oh, let's just go up this vertical, but effortlessly. And as I have alluded to, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, so I will obviously make that section more difficult and probably only test it with this rig, and then set some gates on it and make it so it's virtually impassable. Like right there, that's good. I want it to where you can't just blast up it. You got to put some attitude on it. So grippy that, I mean, I get that's not a super aggressive side hill. A little powder off of there, but that's, wow. 100% reverse is spicy. Let's go towards the unrestrained rock pile. I feel like it's getting there. Boy, can he go. Let's bring it around this side. Ooh, that was slippery. Just trying to remove any big murder holes before I start putting the fill material in it. Otherwise, the fill material will just pour in. Like, you've got big gaps, like what's right here. You start pouring liquid in there, and it's just gone. As it is, when I clean out my concrete rinse buckets, I rinse them out directly over the rock pile here. A little murder hole there. And you can put about 20 gallons of water into this complex before anything runs out. And when it runs out, there's a little spot right there. where water will just start coming out after about 10 minutes. So we've got it pretty well sealed down at the bottom. I want to seal the rest of it. This got rinsed off yesterday. Yes, notably so. Still push, 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 but pulls it right around. All right, approach from this side. Yeah, it's still, I need to dial a little bit into the curve. I just turned the forward curve on, but I haven't dialed anything into it. It's still a little, well, there's a spot that needs some work. Uh-oh. There's a spot that's a little tricky. And the throttle is a little saucy. Uh-oh. He falls slow. And I've definitely mentioned this before. I like a slow fall. Let's see if I can get this. Look at him. Look at that little chief. He's so tiny. Uh-oh. Oh, he's gone now. Oh, there he goes. Screen just went dim on me. It must be getting... Oh, yeah. Woo! All right, that's nature's way of telling us that this morning was senior class textbook pickup. So we're here later than we should be. I've got a good schwitz going on. That could be a reason why the drag brake is getting a little gradual. The camera is going to overheat soon. It's a summer problem. This won't be a problem in the winter. But there we go. There's a day of ramble after I took a, air quotes, day off. I didn't upload a video on the 1st of August because I guess I'm lazy. But I did work on that thing, that green thing that's sitting up on the rock over there. I worked on that thing for some hours. It is now, well, let's get a little bit of a look at it here. As he's effectively a parts binner, let's throw some Amazon stuff at it. The aluminum knuckles came with the AR-44s when I received them. I've added the brass hubs to avoid any sort of panhard issues. The panhard, as you can see, has got two little spacers on there. It was moved over 4 millimeters and is now dead center. It's dead center. I need a little bit longer of a turnbuckle for the steering link. The suspension action feels effectively the same left and right. He's got alloy low mounts on him now. He's getting near final by my estimation. He feels good. And like there might be some messing with the foams. There's definitely going to be some tuning done on the radio because he's using an 11-year-old speed control that honestly, I don't think it was ever really designed with this in mind. So there's some stuff that needs to be looked at. But other than that, I think I'm mentally now ready to move on to Ground Fox Origin. Because as my buddy said, when he was here yesterday, my buddy said, just paint it. He's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I was like, that body was $110. And he goes, I don't care. Just paint it and we'll get it on there. I think I mentally figured out the front and rear body mounts, so that shouldn't be a problem. Body mounts would have been taken care of a long time ago were it not for the fact that they have to match the existing holes in an Origin body. But that's for another thing. That'll be up sometime soon. The first group in round 3 of the Invitational will be up sometime soon as well, perhaps taking place on some of these new obstacles here. So before this goes on all day, before things overheat like the camera and myself, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Check out some other videos, leave a comment below, and we all look forward to seeing you all in whatever comes next.